What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Let's get right to it.
What is called no contact is one of the most powerful processes or energies that you can infuse into what you're experiencing if you find it hard to let go, or if you find that the more you try to make something work with somebody, the more it butchers up the process. This is something that changes everything when you get to apply it. And in this video, I'm going to share with you why that is, how you can apply it, and energetically what actually happens when you go no contact. Now, in general, when people are wanting something to work out with somebody else, what they end up doing energetically is they end up sending this person a lot of energy.
That's right. In my coaching program, I have constant contact with my students, and basically they're constantly, every decision they make, they're trying to make the right decision. So for example, say you were about to make a big move, or say you're about to do something. A lot of guys will actually go, oh, should I make this decision? I'm like, okay, are you doing it for you, or are you doing it for how your ex is about to perceive you instead, right? And that's still not the right focus. You have to focus on just what's best for you and how you are going to be doing, for yourself. So for example, whenever somebody asks me, hey Kyle, what do I do? Right? The automatic thought process that I give them is say, is this for you or is this for them? And I tell them, bring it back. Are you trying to get them to react to whatever decision you're about to make? Right? So make sure that if you're in this position, you're not making certain decisions and doing certain things because you want them to react to you.
Think of it like an address. This is what I've been using as an analogy lately. But think of it as like the person, when you're thinking about them, no matter where they are in the world, we're all connected to this collective consciousness. And what we are feeling about this person are projecting energy at this person. And what happens is they energetically can feel the energy, especially if they're thinking about you. Even if they're trying not to, but if there's a lot of energy cords there, because when you're thinking of someone, when you're dating somebody, your energy fields begin to intertwine with each other.
So this is esoteric stuff, right? But what I know that a lot of you guys are going to be thinking about this from a very practical standpoint instead of a very non-practical. And what I'm going to tell you is every single time you have fully let go, every single time that you have stopped caring, like when you actually get there, not pretending, but when you get there, that is when they call you because they want to intertwine with your energy again and see where you're at. So he's explaining it from a spiritual perspective, right? But I'm going to tell you from a practical perspective because I do believe what he is saying. I do. I'm not going to no bullshit, right? But I want you guys to also see it from a practical standpoint from somebody, because I understand what it's like to see this and hear this for the first time and go, what the fuck are you talking about, right? But I will tell you from a coach's perspective and my own personal perspective and my students' perspective, because I see what they go through. When you let go and you stop projecting your energy out to them, meaning you stop calling them, you stop thinking about them all the time, you focus on your own energy, you focus on your goals, your mission, your purpose, you do all of these things, right? That is when they will want to come back and reach out to you. I just want to get that in. I want to preface this entire video with that, okay?
Thoughts, your feelings, emotions begin to intertwine. This is why some couples or some people that are dating may have the same thought at the same time. It's because they have similar fields that are they're like together a lot, so the energies are intermingled. Now what happens is, what can happen is there can be a level of enmeshment where the energy fields really begin to merge. And then what happens is somebody may want space. This happens a lot. This isn't a bad thing necessarily either. Sometimes they may feel like it's becoming too enmeshed, and they may say, oh, it's better, one of them normally, and normally if you look at the attachment styles, it'll be normally an anxious and an avoidant attachment style a lot of times. And then one person, sometimes the avoidant, will then go, and then the anxious will feel needy, will feel like, I want this person to come back so that we can fix it, we can make it work. The thing is, though, is this person wants space.
So I want to also touch base on the idea that even people that are healthy need space, especially during your 20s. I have found, just with my own experience dating other women, my experience, just me, right? And my students, is people need to be on their own to think for themselves. And sometimes somebody else's energy and presence, opinions can be very, you're like, is this even my thought? I've had a lot of women say, I want space or I need space, right? To my students and to myself before. And if you, again, this is why being mission focused is so fucking crucial, boys. Because when you're mission focused, she has time on her own. There's already automatic space in your life. Now, they may want extra space because maybe you're home at the same time. This is why you have to have hobbies. A relationship is really just a side thing. It's not, I'm not saying it's not important, because I think that we're built to be in relationships personally. But I think that when you're in a relationship, we put way more emphasis and energy onto things that don't really matter. Like they kind of do, but they kind of don't. You know what I mean? So I don't know. In my opinion, I think that people need space. We need space. We need time alone to be on our own. And a lot of people are afraid. A lot of people are afraid to give that to the other person because they're like, well, that means they don't need me anymore. And that means I'm not important to them. But when they realize that you are not the issue, they'll come closer to you every single time. There's automatic space in my relationship, okay? Because I come to this place all the time to work, right? So
this person didn't want space. But then what happens is energetically, the other person continues to send them energy. So even though they have physical space, they do not have emotional or energetic space because the other person is sending that person energy. And remember, it's like a physical address. They're thinking about this person. They're sending this person energy. And what they're feeling in their body when they're thinking of them is definitely being projected, which normally it's needy energy. It's energy of like wanting something, and it's resistance, and it's sending that person energy. They're still feeling it. They're still feeling it, even though they may not even be talking that much. But energetically, what happens is when somebody pulls their energy back, they pull their energy back, and they go no contact. So no contact is a way to where you then focus, instead of on them, you focus on yourself. And focusing on yourself means hanging out with your friends, your dog, your cat, your family, doing something you're passionate about, focusing on like maybe picking up a new hobby. Like you really put the attention back on yourself and you stop sending this person energy. That's no contact. Some people say no contact is when you just stop calling or texting them and seeing them. That's kind of no contact, but I'd actually say that the real no contact is you actually focus on yourself, because you can stop those things, but continuously be thinking of that person. I promise you, you're still sending them the energy, and they're going to feel that needy energy. They're going to feel that you want them to be a certain, they're not going to feel like they have energetic space. But when you start pulling your energy back and focusing on yourself, they'll then feel that. And energetically, it then gives them room to breathe. It gives them room to like be in their own field, and then to say, actually, I do like this person, or it helps give them clarity. It also helps you get clarity.
So like I said, that's always when they call you back, right? When you pull your energy back, like Aaron's saying, that is always when they call you back, every single time. So I think, guys, the most important thing for you guys to understand is it's just about self-improvement. Yes, it is the same thing in everybody's videos. It's the same thing. Focus on yourself, focus on your energy. But I like going into why. And I feel like this video goes into why. And because, again, like nobody before this really had an explanation on why somebody will call you after you stop thinking about them so much and stop caring about them so much. And this is a decent answer, in my opinion. I think if there's a collective consciousness, you know, then maybe when you start valuing your own energy because you're not projecting it onto them or their energy, right? And you're like, I'm just going to focus on my energy and my growth and what I fucking care about. It's basically a big way of saying fuck you, all right, to them, without being super negative, because you're just focusing on yourself. And a lot of guys are like, well, how do I get back at her? How do I make her feel like how I felt, right? And it's the wrong way to think about it. The best way to make somebody regret leaving you and regret all that is by improving yourself. And I promise you guys, with what's going on out there, all the beta males, there are so many blue-pilled guys that have no idea what they're doing. If you can focus on yourself and just be in good shape, okay, if you can just do that, you're already going to stand out from the crowd, okay? Make sure you're following my Red Pill channels down below in the pinned comments.
So energetically, when we're talking about this process of attracting love and just the process in general of us being in our own frame, realize that when we are projecting our energy out at somebody else, they're feeling it, and it is literally projecting energy at them, and they want space. They want to go away. The best thing to do is to pull your energy back, go no contact, where you don't talk or text, because every time you talk or text, you reestablish energetic cords. Mm-hmm. Think of it like we have these energetic cords that are around us. The more we're around each other, the more these energetic cords intermingle. And then when we pull apart, there's still some cords energetically. But when you send them energy and you're thinking of them, it's like sending that cord, that energy to that person. Now, every time you reestablish contact, you're reestablishing those cords. And especially if there's still needy energy activated, it's going to refunnel that needy energy right back into them. Now, I have seen it so many times where somebody goes no contact and they actually let that energy go.
So have I.
And they put the energy back on themselves. And it has such a magnetic quality. And I know I've shared this in a couple other videos, but I shared this little example as well. At a event I went to once, like 4 years ago, there was a teacher there that was like an energy, some type of like scientific energy teacher. She had a TED Talk and she talks about energy. And she was at this place and I was at a little workshop with her. And she was explaining to the audience how energy is projected and received and felt. And she said, everyone right now project your energy at me as her sitting in the front of the room. Everyone is projecting it. Sending her energy, send her energy, send her energy. And she says when people do that, it literally makes her back away. It repels her. She said, now bring all the energy back in your body. Bring it in your body. Bring it in your hands, into your feet. Bring it back to you. Bring it back to you. Bring it back to you. She said, as I do that, it then it's like, it has this magnetic quality where it literally makes you want to move towards. So energetically, when we project energy, it's repelling. When we bring energy back into our bodies, in our own frame, it's magnetic. And I've shared the frame technique before, but that's probably one of the most powerful and magnetic processes I've ever found, I've ever used. And I did this, and it's such a simple technique of like staring at a candle flame, literally like a candle flame like this, and looking at it for just 5 or 10 minutes a day, feeling inside of your body, feeling in your hands, feeling the separation between you and the candle flame. And as you do this, you start to feel safe in your own body. And as you feel safe inside your own body, you then go out. You don't need as much from other people. You won't need their validation. You won't need their approval. And when I go out in public and I'd be inside my body and I would do that, it was so incredible how people would respond differently to me because of that. It's like there was more magnetic energy there, and I needed less from them. So energetically, it changes everything when you begin to bring the energy in your hands and your feet, and you begin to feel safe in your own body, knowing you don't need someone else's approval, someone else's validation.
I think I read a book called The Abundant Mind or something like that. No, can't remember. It's by John Randolph Price. And anyway, it's a little blue book. I have it at home and I haven't touched it in a while. But basically, they used to teach this stuff back in the day, like a long, long time ago. And people were very in touch with their spiritual selves. And we've forgotten about it because in the last so many years, this is why like people that automatically say that this is all bullshit, you're just closed-minded, right? I'm not saying that this is completely true either, right? Because I don't know. But if you really think about your education and what you know, it is so limited to what people used to, because yes, we have access to information, right? But we know so much less than we used to. Why is that, right? Yes, I can Google something in 10 seconds, but people just don't, they're not wise. People aren't wise. So what do we really know, right? And it really bugs me when people are like, oh, fucking bullshit. It's like, well, if you had any brain in here, in your head, and you go, man, maybe I don't know as much as I thought I knew. And because if you think about the education system, it's definitely not to make you smart, okay? It's to make you an obedient person. Look at the scheduling of it, okay? I learned more from YouTube than I ever did from school. Tell you that shit right now, right? I haven't used algebra since, I don't know. I don't even fucking remember. Since I was in school, probably, right? Again, there are things that the education system's not meant to make us smart. It's actually probably meant to make us dumb. And in terms of the idea of, yes, we can do basic math, but it makes us more obedient. So instead of being like challenging and saying, maybe this isn't the right way. So when you guys hear this stuff, I'm not saying I want you to automatically agree, but I have seen evidence of what he's talking about myself. Okay. With my coaching students every single day. So even if you don't trust Aaron and you do trust me, I'm telling you, there's a connection with what he's talking about and how it works. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is to do some research about energy and how it works. There's certain books that you can read, and I'll tell you something about that as well. That stuff is suppressed and just not talked about. Okay. And I don't know if it's because there are powers that be that want that, right? That want us to not know what we truly are and how powerful we really are. But I'll tell you something. I have completely changed my entire life. And it was because I started taking my power back. I stopped putting it out there and started taking it. And what I mean is, like, and I wanted to attract money, right? This is where the law of attraction, there's a little bit of marketing here. Law of attraction, right? The law of attraction is actually a secondary law to law of vibration. Money is not just going to flow to you. It doesn't work that way. You do have to still earn it. But you're going to get the thoughts and the ideas and the know-how because you're going to be looking. When you look for something, it will come back to you. So, and I think karma exists as well. But anyway, that's not for the, I know I'm ranting about this, but I'm just telling you guys that I really want you guys to just think, use your brains, and just ask yourself and challenge yourself, what the fuck do you really know? Because at the end of the day, most people don't know shit and they think that they do. And when they hear this stuff, they're like, yeah, bullshit, right? But at the end of the day, I know that I don't. Before I started like doing a lot of self-study about spirituality, about relationships, about people, how they operate, we are energetic beings. I can tell you that shit. You can tell a low energy person from a high energy person just by the way that they're acting. But people are really so quick to just say that certain things just don't exist. It makes me laugh a little bit. So let's continue.
And what ends up happening is it has this magnetic quality that actually increases the probability of that person coming back. But it's because you've reestablished your own energy cords. Because that level, normally it's a level of codependency and enmeshment. And what happens is when we're projecting our energy at somebody else, it's enmeshing energies together. And the key and the most powerful thing you could possibly do is to pull your energy back and to put it in yourself and to put it in your body, to put it in your hands. And as you do that, they will literally feel that. And as they feel that, they will think different. They're going to be able to feel it in their own energy. And that's when they'll actually realize that maybe they miss you. And that's why there's power in letting them actually miss you. But not just physically of going no contact by not calling or texting them, but energetically.
So that's very powerful. Let them miss you. Let them be without you. I know it sucks. Like I know it sucks. It sucks. But you want them to appreciate you, right? And they're not going to appreciate you and respect you if you're chasing them and you don't love yourself, right? That's a big lesson I learned growing up in the last 5 years, was being happy and being okay on my own. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not that scary. It sucks being lonely sometimes because I'm an entrepreneur, right? I'm alone most of the time. And then, I talk to my friends and talk to my girl, but I'm alone most of the time. So I had to be okay with it, So that's at the end of the day, guys, you guys have to be okay in your own bodies, in your own skin.
And realize that what you thought, the story you told yourself about them, what you thought they could give you, which normally is validation or approval, and you think it's love, but normally love is a familiar energy. It's just a familiar energy we felt at childhood. And maybe if you had emotionally unavailable parents, then you're searching for that and you're trying to, in a way, close the loop from childhood. You're trying to get them to meet the needs that your inner child feels like they didn't feel. And that's actually what this is about, more so than even that person. It's finding somebody that very perfectly reflects back the inner childhood stuff that is a very familiar energy. Familiar and familial are very similar words because familiar feels like family. So the key to this is becoming aware of that. And as you become aware of that, it changes absolutely everything.
Awareness is always the first step.
And energetically, it allows you to then be in your own frame, to feel safe in your own body. And it allows you to then actually be more magnetic and actually have more options as well. You'll find that you're in more abundance when you have this mentality. This is the power and the magnetic quality of what is called non-attachment.
Excuse me. Non-attachment or detachment, right, has been, again, the biggest game changer. I think that's what made me so happy. It's not that I'm happy. It's like I don't feel like elated from it. I just don't feel pulled down by bullshit anymore. That's really what it was.
Now, something I have as well, if you haven't texted me yet, text me your questions. And also, I send 2 or 3 times a week the High Vibe Thought of the Week. I send that of the top epiphanies, the top books I'm reading. And all you got to do is text me your questions or text me at 424-304-0104. If you're in Canada or the US, you can do this. I'm working on an international thing that I'll eventually have. But as well, there's a video on how to let them miss you. When you let them miss you, it changes everything. Watch this video right.
So that's a really long 30-minute video that I'm probably going to cover. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. So like and subscribe and all that. And I hope I provided some extra insight on top of Aaron's. But if you guys want coaching with me, it's down below in the description box. You guys will see it. And also check the pinned comments for my Red Pill channel. Done.